Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one lined up for you today. Songbird news, and you're going to like it. 145 million XRP pushed. CZ Binance in the news again. Currency Cloud, Ripple partner, Europe and the US. You're going to want to know about it. And PayPal announcement as well. President's Working Group, Gary Gensler. And let me tell you, SEC, what I believe is SEC ETHgate now, and I tell you, it looks and appears more like corruption than it does a lack of clarity, but we're going to get into it. And also, we're going to talk about Ripple Fair Notice gets a huge bump, and it really comes from Gary Gensler. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are sitting here right now, let me see it, $2.1 trillion, almost even, a little above, but the market is off collectively by 2.45%. Bitcoin right now, 47,000 plus, Ethereum, 3,300 plus, and Cardano at 236, and XRP at $1.07, holding strong regardless of the intimidation tactics of the SEC. Looking right here at $1.07, we see the low end of the XRP price range at 105.46 and 110.24 on the upper side of the range. We are going to hear from two analysts before we get out of here today, and I tell you, one of them says $4.50 XRP is locked in. How about that one? We're going to enjoy looking at that. Let's get into the news. JC Collins tells us today, awesome things will move fast now. Songbird announced their launch yesterday, which we covered. But Songbird is going to start trading on BitTrue September 27th. Uh-oh, watch out. Things are moving quick, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what else is moving quick? 145 million XRP has been pushed between major crypto trading venues with the participation of Ripple Labs. I tell you, I say it all the time. Where is this stuff going to if the large part of the retail investors haven't been able to buy it? Are we about to see everything get relisted in this case settle one way or another? I think that we are. Looking right here, we see Binance has really come to the realization that we do need a home base. Regulators around the world have put Binance in their crosshairs, and we've all found out and watched in an ugly fashion that CZ does not really have a headquarters anywhere in the globe at this point. So where he lands, nobody knows, but he does say they are going to make the effort, and they will get a headquarters somewhere. And we'll see what ends up coming out of that. But, you know, at this point, I hate to see it for CZ. That was the first platform I was ever on. So I hope they do get that worked out. We'll keep you up on it. But check this out. Flutterwave and Currency Cloud to help accelerate expansion into Europe and the US. Both are Ripple partners. And for an example, I just pulled up a reminder about Currency Cloud, which was acquired by Visa for almost $1 billion. Yeah, not exactly a corner store, right? And again, it is in fact a partner to Ripple, right? For cross-border processor payments. Ripple helps back end with it all. Things are moving in the right direction, even though we're watching this case just fall apart with the SEC. We're going to see even more conflict here in just a second. There's no doubt about it. We're going to see it. I'm referring to this whole thing as SEC ETHgate. That's what we're doing. We should hashtag that everywhere. Looking right here, PayPal has announced that all of its UK customers can now buy and sell cryptocurrencies, BTC, ETH, Litecoin, and BHC. Well, I'll tell you, it only gets bigger. It's only getting bigger. We know that the U.S. is doing that too. Venmo is offering it now. PayPal also owns Venmo. Looking into the SEC nightmare mess. Let's get into this now. So a few things we got to touch on here. One is, I touched this yesterday, but we need to keep talking about it because I covered a report which really came out that talked about the idea that Gary Gensler and other top officials in different agencies are all working together in what they're calling a president's group, a president's working group, I should say, excuse me. He reassured senators in his testimony that they are working on a regulatory framework. And I covered here yesterday, and as a reminder again today, that it is being said that top officials from the Treasury and these other agencies include the Federal Reserve and the SEC and many other agencies that are a part of this whole thing that overlap when it comes to crypto. And they said in the coming weeks they would be releasing a framework for policy. Now, if that becomes like a regulatory sandbox or what have you, I think one thing's for sure is that some kind of safe harbor should come with it. And this is the one and only John Deaton right here. Why fair notice wins. And I really see it too. March 2018, market participants propose a safe harbor because of the lack of clarity. April 2018, Gary Gensler says Ripple needs clarity. June 2018, Hinman gives a speech describing a decentralization construct that fits the XRP ledger. Let's start here. And if you look at this, it says, we also believe it's equally essential to provide clear guidance beyond enforcement actions. They don't seem to be feeling and exercising that today. So-called utility tokens are intended to be used by users of software network and do not represent an equity interest, right? Okay, but they attract speculative resellers, which implicates the Howey test, they say, right? And then they go on to say the Howey case law is highly nuanced and therefore challenging to interpret, leading to uncertainty. Well, isn't that interesting? Because in just a second, I'm going to play you a clip from Gary Gensler telling you he says it's actually very clear. There is much less clarity around investment contract type securities under the Howey law. Token sales agreement constitute investment contracts under some circumstances, but not others, right? And then coming down here, we believe the law and guidance around what constitutes an investment contract should be clarified. Should be clarified. Gary Gensler to this day is saying that we have the clarity, and he believes that not only XRP is a security, but the majority of the rest of the market, including stablecoins. This is just getting so incredibly hard to watch. It really is. And you know what? I say it, and I'm going to say it again. This is not my mission for this channel to tear people or other projects down. That's not what I'm here to do. I just want to see a level playing field. We give us a level playing field and stop giving the Ethereum free pass, which really, to be honest, is starting to look more a lot like corruption than we just didn't know what to do. It certainly appears that way, and I hope some people with the right pay grade start to really investigate it. To remedy the uncertainty and confusion in this space, we propose a non-exclusive safe harbor to help provide guidance to the industry on which constitutes an investment contract and how the investment contract law guidance should apply to utility tokens with respect to primary sales, resale, and use of tokens for their intended purposes. I mean, do we need to see any more? This is so obvious, right? It says even further here, it says the industry's need for clarity is obvious. Oh, can I just really quickly just give you this too? This also came from Leonidas. Shout out to Leonidas here. Now listen to this little exchange right here from Gary Gensler, not knowing really what's going on here and how it would all shake out. Understanding, just listen.
Well, two classes of problems. The people who issued the tokens, are they criminals? What happens to them? And then the people who are holding the tokens, were they scammed, and how do they get redress?
I think regulators around the globe will sort it through, but as you saw in the first of these last summer, the DAO, D-A-O, the SEC chose to write, I think it would be called an order, but they didn't actually then have a civil money penalty. They didn't charge. They just wrote an order and tried to change behavior. I think there is a reasonable case to be made that if you can come into compliance, if the Securities and Exchange Commission gives some number of months, and I don't know what that is right in a period of time, but some number of months or a year or whatever to come into compliance, then they'll look forward. The challenge.
Now, he's describing a safe harbor to an extent right there. He's pointing out, and I believe, wasn't he talking about DAO, the DAO project? We went over that the other day about how that was another ICO that got away with having an ICO with no punishment. Keep listening.
The challenge is compliance is about disclosure. That's hard to do, but it's doable. Compliance is about the manner of sale. You can't change the manner of sale from 2 years ago, but maybe you can change the manner of sale going forward. Compliance is about beneficial ownership. That's a tricky one. Compliance is about anti-fraud and insider trading rules. So, but I think it's more like, let's look forward, and there's 1,000+ horses running on the field that got out of the barn. We've got to kind of bring them into compliance. And even for Ripple and Ether, or maybe it's, EOS or NEO or something, but for the big market cap ones, there needs to be clarity in the market. And if the clarity in the market is that they're not securities, they might still be commodities, they might still need to comply with all those laws and so forth, but I think it's a period of time. But if you do an issuance now,
so there it is. And he's acknowledging clearly here that there needs to be clarity, right? And John Deaton laid out the timeline of these things that took place and when he said them. And now, all of a sudden, if we come here, this is Anya Manuel from Ripple at the Aspen Security Forum back in August here when we covered it. And listen to how confident he is. He even chuckles through this exchange that there's clarity and there's no confusion here. Listen to this clip here.
Fantastic. And thank you, Chair Gensler, for all of your comments. As you might imagine, our Q&A function is exploding here. And
all right, Andra, let's rock and roll.
Exactly. What I will do is I'll combine various questions because they tend to be along a number of themes. And then I know we've got some distinguished members of the audience that will call up and ask as well.
Sure.
The first one is, I noticed you made a comment early in your speech that said the probability is that with 50 plus tokens that most of them are securities. The Q&A exploded into understandably, well, how do we know which one is a security, which one isn't? Why did Ethereum and Bitcoin get a free pass? And do you believe that's still appropriate, even though Ethereum, many people believe, was an ICO? Are you going to keep doing this regulation through litigation, which is what currently is going on, or are you going to set some clear criteria so people in the market will know if they're issuing a security or if something has become a real currency or a commodity because it has a real use case?
So
listen to what he says here.
So it's a great set. I know you're combining different people's questions. Yeah. It's a great set of questions. Let me say, I think there's actually a fair amount of clarity. And why did I quote Jay Clayton to say it crosses chairs, it crosses party lines, it crosses.
Oh, he's so condescending with the little chuckle like it's us that don't understand. This is the same guy in 2018 who's just made the case that they need clarity. And the SEC is a complete organization in the letters that John Deaton showed, acknowledging that there is no clarity. And it's obvious that there isn't clarity. That starts to smell like there's some kind of corruption going on in the system. Because if there's that kind of acknowledgement that got written down in official documentation, then something isn't right. And when we've been saying on this show that sometimes these things look like theater, that they're playing out and we're going through the motions, well, I'll tell you what, I bet it doesn't feel like theater to Ripple because they're spending millions of dollars in just their defense, let alone what they've lost because of being sued by Ripple. Now, I bet that doesn't feel like theater to them, right? So at the end of the day here, this really calls for an outside whistleblower organization like Senator Grassley and everybody that I'm calling on my representative, Senator Chris Van Hollen, to get involved here, dig down into this. And believe me, I will be contacting a dear friend of mine who has a connection to Senator Holland. We are going to get some kind of attention from our state in Maryland to this topic. You watch this. I'm not playing around. Keep listening.
Different philosophies. I mean, Jay and I really met as he was in this job, and he was in his job, and I was at MIT. I think there's a lot of clarity. This Howey test, and
he thinks there's a lot of clarity here. I tell you what, this is something is very, very wrong. Like I said, what it appears to be is either incompetence or decided lack of clarity. It's exactly like Hester Person said from the SEC. It is a decided lack of clarity. You know why she said decided lack of clarity? Because she's more aware of even more information in documents, I'm sure, internally than we get to see, like what John Deaton showed us, right? And that really says it right there. So listen, I can tell you this is not over by a long shot, and we are going to continue to press on this. And I think mainstream media and Charles Gasparino and Fox News, Rosalind Layton from Forbes, all of them are going to continue to press on. And this is going to get more exciting as we move forward because there is a there. And I think we can all tell that much from it. Now, listen, let's take a look at XRP price, because it seems to me and a couple other technical analysts that there's a there too. Looking right here, Dark Defender says, let's have a look at XRP in smaller time frames in 4 hours here. He says, XRP is on the support line. If she can defend $1.06 for 8 hours, we can see a move towards $1.35. Now, if we have a correction and it doesn't go up, don't be surprised if we go as low into the 70-some cent range. But that doesn't take out any of the upper price targets that we've talked about and had him talk about here of $6, $13, $20 plus. Now, we're getting the same vibration, the same TA calls essentially from Coins Kids as well. Let's take a look at this. And I love this comment that he made here. He says, I think one last crypto shakeout before the golden bull run would put the fear of God into retail investors, but not the Coins Kid crew, he says. He says expected targets are BTC at 200,000, ETH at 20,000, and XRP at $1.50 locked in. SEC sends it to $27 plus. $11 trillion plus cryptocurrency market cap. Whoa, how about that one? Listen to this clip about the price here for XRP potentially.
Like this, we came up and coiled up, broke this low resistance, gone. Okay, we carried out that impulsive wave just there. Again, we come up, coiled up, come back down to this key level of resistance as support, you know, for continuation, broke it, start to come up, hit this resistance here, we're coiling up. When can we break? As soon as we break this white line here, we're looking at a beautiful minimal $4.50 for me for XRP. Okay, so it's looking good, you know, providing we can hold key level support. We are looking really good for continuation. It's just a little bit lackluster and frustrating at the moment. Okay, and technical analysis, you know, I'm trying to find a low for you. Hopefully this low here would be absolutely amazing, it would be great. But what I want to show you right now is we have always retraced in the previous corrections, in every single retracement here. Okay, this retracement back to there, that retracement back to there, we've always retraced to the 050 so far, and I think at the moment we've only retraced as deep as the 0382. So, you know, for me, you are looking at that as a minimal, but it doesn't mean it has to happen, because we are holding support relatively well at the moment. If you do start to see this key level support just lost here, okay, do anticipate that we could actually come down to the 050. And I'm going to show you again where the 050 is, just to remind you. So this is the high from there, and this is the low. This is where you're coming from, basically, okay. So you can see that the 050 sits around about 84 cents, roughly, okay. So what you're doing, you've come up like in this impulsive wave like that, and you start to retrace for continuation of the impulsive wave. Okay, start to do something like that, break this apex, boom, see you later, gone. Do you see that? So yeah, I mean, this for me is your nominal. It's nominal because you always retrace the 050, nominal. If it gets a bit nasty, you know, the 0618 is down there, and we need to get this level for you. It's around about 74 cents, okay, which you can see is the previous buy and go to the beat signal. You roll over back to see you later. It's still good because you're still putting in higher highs and higher lows. Look, so you're doing something like this. Look, watch, boom, boom, boom. At a low, a high, a high low, a high, up to our technical target. Do you understand that?
There you go. And we're looking at the low side again, lining up, and the two analysts aligning together and using different tools and charts and patterns to get it done. That's what I really like about this. And these indicators are showing that we could dip back and pull back into the 78 cent range, even maybe 85 cent, and then see a big spike from there, because the history of the charts show us that kind of a trend. Now, that doesn't mean that it will absolutely play out that way, but that's exciting to know. And if it does, the trend shows from there that a projected target of $4.50 is locked in. How about that one? Everybody, make sure you're watching all these videos when they come out. There is more news jumping off every single day. And I tell you, you never know what's going to come out any day now. I mean, even more and more stuff just seems to make its way to the surface. This is SEC ETHgate is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. A decided lack of clarity, because we know it's certain, well, we don't know, but it certainly appears from what we see that there is a decided lack of clarity and a decided choice to really participate in what appears to be corruption, right? So make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. Check out all the links in the description and comment box. They're great specials. They're products and services I use each and every day. More importantly, they're trusted, vetted links. And the specials are great, but you gotta click the links. I'll catch you on the next one.